Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. And in today's video, I'll be discussing which states will essentially decide future elections and sort of how they will decide them. And how parties can win them, how parties should win them. First off, yes, this is coming up later. Then it should be coming up on the 24th. Coming up on the 25th though. So yeah, I hope school's starting though soon. So, um, given the fact that school starts ridiculously early, and don't even get me started on ranting about school, because believe me, I might. But um, yeah. Anyways, hopefully that won't happen in the future much. But also go check out the video I just uploaded. Please comment your questions. It's essentially a video for a Q&A. I think I'll probably leave it up, or I'll leave it up for. I don't see myself taking it down, but I think I will be answering the questions in roughly a week. Um, so please go comment your questions down on that video. Anyways, we're gonna start off in Arizona. Arizona, the essentially best way for Democrats to carry the state is through doing well with moderate establishmentarians, um, or nominating moderate establishmentarians, doing well with traditional conservatives in the suburbs. Tend to like moderate establishmentarians on either side of the aisle. I could see a lot of them liking traditional conservatives. Honestly, that's probably what they would prefer. Someone like Mitt Romney would probably be their preferred choice. But in Arizona, I think that's probably the best bet for Democrats, and this sort of helps them, sort of doesn't in these three states where they have relatively similar demographic makeups, which will probably help them, or not help them, but it makes it easier for me at least to explain this, and it actually kind of makes it easier for the GOP to win, and I'll explain that later, but essentially in these three states, the Democrats. The two of the largest demographic groups there are two demographics that help the Democrats, or that can help the Democrats, or that can essentially make or break the Democrats' performance in that region. And one big problem for them is that these demographics vote on based off very different type of candidates. One of the demographics being the white working class, the other one being black voters. And a lot of these black voters in a lot of these regions tend to vote for, or the candidates that tend to do the best for black voters in a lot of these regions are, at least for the Democratic Party, are moderate establishmentarians, like in Arizona, who are going to do well. However, a lot of the candidates, or a lot of the Democratic candidates still do better for the white working class, or more populist, more left wing candidates. And this kind of hurts Democrats. I think that Biden was definitely a genius pick for a candidate because he has the appeal to black voters and he has the suburban appeal. He also has very, very good appeal to the white working class. But yeah, that's kind of that. I think Kamala Harris might be all right. I think she'll probably lose Wisconsin, maybe Pennsylvania. She doesn't have the appeal to the white working class that she probably should, but she can still probably. I could still see her coming through. Whereas for the GOP, Arizona, fairly similar thing. They want to nominate more establishmentarian moderate candidates, and this is where this can help them and can hurt them. And I'll explain it later because Georgia does kind of come into play. Also, random side note, assuming that the rest of the map votes the same, Democrats just need to carry one of these states. Republicans, assuming that the rest of the map stays the same, need to carry all four. In order to win, that is. They're not going to die, I don't think. I mean, they're going to die either way. Like, just naturally, obviously. I'm not saying that I'm not, like, being a conspiracy theorist with politicians dying if they lose elections or whatever. No, they're going to die either way, obviously, because they're humans. Obviously. But, or conspiracy theorists might disagree. We live in a crazy world, but it's kind of crazy. Anyways, if they need to win them, if they want to win, obviously, like I said, they're not gonna die if they don't win them because they are human. Sorry, conspiracy theorists, politicians aren't reptiles. But anyways, the GOP's main problem is that in Arizona, their best bet is to nominate a moderate establishmentarian candidate, whereas in the other three states, their best bet is to nominate not establishmentarian moderate, a Trumpist populist, because Trumpist populists probably do very well with white rural voters, and very well with white working class, which are two of the biggest demographics that'll help the GOP in these regions. So the GOP's best bet probably is to nominate someone who has the suburban appeal, but also, or has the traditionally conservative suburban appeal, yet also has the appeal to white rural voters and the white working class. I can see why RDS has that hype around him. I don't really think that he'd live up to it, but realistically, there is another path for the GOP. Carrying Pennsylvania, in Wisconsin, carrying North Carolina, but also carrying Georgia. And it would rely on one big thing for the Democratic Party, and that is nominating a candidate who is horrible for black voters. If the GOP nominates a Trumpist populist, and the Democratic Party nominates a candidate who is horrible for black voters, the Democratic Party will essentially lose most of their voting base, or a fairly sizable chunk of at least of their voting base in a lot of these states. And the GOP will have very good rural numbers and carry the states. At this point, the Democrats' best bet is probably to nominate an establishmentarian moderate who has good working class appeal, like Joe Biden. If they can't, then their best bet probably is to just nominate a moderate establishmentarian and hope that they can turn out enough black voters in the suburbs will shift enough to the left in the Rust Belt that they can carry at least some of the Rust Belt while doing well enough in the Sun Belt. The GOP's best bet essentially is to nominate Trumpist populists. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like below. Stay tuned for my next video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please comment your suggestions down below. And I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye!